So after the first purchase, you had an idea of where you wanted to live, what the next one might look like. How long was it until you started looking again? Because there had to have been some kind of transition period where you're just getting your foot, like you're getting settled with this new purchase, you're trying to take care of that. How long until you actively started looking and talking to realtors about second purchase?
Immediately.
Second purchase of your real estate investing career? What was the date?
That was October 24th, 1994.
Wow, you remember the exact day again?
I remember the exact day. I think after the first two, once I get to the third and thereon, I'm not going to have the exact days.
All right. Do you remember the address for it?
Yeah, it was 847 J Street in the Pine Hills neighborhood of Albany.
Okay. Was this also a duplex like the first one, or was it a different kind of property?
Yeah, so two-family, same exact type property. These properties in Albany are very common. The two-family buildings, 3 bedrooms on the first floor, 3 bedrooms on the second floor.
Up and down duplex?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you first find it? Was it on the MLS like the first property?
Yeah, this one, I had a year of learning after the first property, so now I'm contacting realtors on a regular basis. I hadn't hooked up with a realtor where I was represented, so to speak, but I was talking to a lot of different realtors, and they had begun at least sending me some on-market properties.
Mm-hmm. And you're a broker now. This is before you were an agent or any licenses?
No. At that point, I was 22, and I was just usually at this point, you're looking in the newspaper and calling real estate agents for leads.
Mm-hmm. Did you have access to MLS without a license back then?
I didn't. I had limited access. I had the access that real estate agents would allow. Mm-hmm. Meaning, when I talked to them, they would, tell me what was available on the market, and basically feed me, whatever listings they chose to show me.
Mm-hmm. That was before the Zillows and Trulios and all those.
Yeah, that was the days of phone book style multiple listing service.
Mm-hmm.
So the realtors were operating out of once a month,
yep,
maybe once every 2 weeks. A new listing book would come out, and there was somebody from the MLS that would distribute the multiple listing service listings. Like a paper boy.
Yeah, before my time. Were you also able to get a no money down or close to no money down deal on this purchase?
Yeah, in essence, I tied the first deal into the second deal. So, utilizing FHA financing, being owner occupied, we moved into the second property. So the first property did well enough to accumulate, a couple $1,000s based on the cash flow. So the second deal was $105,000 purchase price. So about 3% down between the two of us. I would say the majority of what was necessary came from the cash flow on the first purchase.
Mm-hmm. About 11 months later.
Yeah.
So at this point, you are renting out the first purchase. You have this new house that you took money from the first one and invested into the second one, and you move into the second one. So everything's kind of going according to plan from the book you read, right?
Yeah, everything was going very well. Fortunately, we had a lot of friends in the city, so there was a lot of our friends who were just in need of apartments. Mm-hmm. So by the second purchase, we were able to move into the first floor, myself and Greg, my partner, and a great friend of ours rented the third bedroom in our apartment, And then we had 3 other friends who rented the upstairs 3-bedroom apartment. So, immediately when we bought it, we were all lined up to move in. So we were able to hit the ground running cash flow wise.
Mm-hmm. Did that work out well for you, renting to friends?
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, but eventually it didn't. It blew up.
Mm-hmm.
So just like young people getting their first apartments through college, or just getting apartments, when you're in your early 20s. Everybody deals with the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whose dirty dishes are in the sink.
Yep.
You have one roommate that's a little neater than others, and things like that kind of snowball to the point where you're all great friends, but I remember vividly that the second floor apartment these are great friends of mine to this day. They have an issue with each other, and the next thing you know, one guy's moving out. And next thing a week later, everyone's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and my partner Greg are like, oh, what happened here?
Yeah.
We had nothing to do with this, and now we have a vacant apartment, and they're great friends. So, at that point, you seek out renters that are strangers, and now we're going, as any landlord would.
Mm-hmm. So from that point on, you started posting your listings on, was it websites at that time, or how did you find those
websites? Not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet. I think the internet had just begun in 94, 95, but still took several years to gain a certain amount of traction where there was actually functional sites that would support the style business.
No Craigslist yet.
No Craigslist yet. I remember making flyers for SUNY Albany, St. Rose.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just targeting students, because we were a couple blocks away from the St. Rose campus, and we were right on the bus line for the SUNY campus. So I think our first tenant, after our friends moved out, if I remember correctly, were like foreign exchange students from SUNY Albany.
Okay, so around the same age.
Yeah, we were. That was the funny dynamic with me and Greg was, we were landlords, but we melded right with, the student crowd because at the time we were 22 years old.
Yeah. Were there any specific lessons from this purchase, this property, that really stuck with you?
It was a location play entirely. So after the first deal, I continued to get very familiar with the city of Albany. So I was very interested in that Pine Hills neighborhood near St. Rose because it was a great area where you had some students, some young professionals, families. It was a healthy mix, but also just a really good neighborhood. So I was very happy to get something there based on us definitely moving in.
So it seems like the biggest lesson or takeaway from the first two purchases is just location. When location is not good, when location is good, how important that is.
That was the play going forward. It took me a few years to really develop that criteria of success, which starts with, as everybody knows, location, location, location. And then it stretched into, quality of building, functional floor plan. When you're showing apartments, the floor plans have to work for tenant prospects. So you can get a quick rental, good tenant that qualifies through your screening, and ultimately sets up, success or failure, for that next year tenancy.
Mm-hmm. So after the first purchase, you had an idea of where you wanted to live, what the next one might look like. How long was it until you started looking again? Because there had to been some kind of transition period where you're just getting your foot on, you're getting settled with this new purchase, you're trying to take care of that. How long until you actively started looking and talking to realtors about second purchase?
Immediately. Okay. I was in it. So after I read that first book and made that first deal, I was convinced that this is what I was going to do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, I did have the restaurant job that I worked at night. So I was able to utilize my days to focus on real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So after the first deal, I was looking for the next one. It took a little bit because we were, really wanted that first deal to mature, so to speak, get to know the business, which we did. And, we needed a place to live. So 11 months after the first deal, we got into the second. But as soon as I was done with the second, I was immediately looking for the third, running numbers, focusing on those neighborhoods that I had a strong interest in based on, just being safe, solid, good rental neighborhoods. And, it's just like anything. You look at a lot of different opportunities on the multiple listing service, and eventually a deal comes around where the numbers work for you, and make the deal.
Mm-hmm. So it took about 11 months of looking. Was it really the numbers that made it look? Like, what in particular made this one deal just work? I'm sure you analyzed so many properties before going through the second purchase. What really stood out about the location was good, the numbers were good, and everything just clicked?
Yeah, it was a reasonable cash flow, very similar to the first deal. So once again, it was a blend of the next investment, but also our home.
Mm-hmm.
So the numbers were very similar to the first deal in a way that we paid a lot more money for it, but it also had higher rents.
Mm-hmm.
So everything being relative, the cash flows were very similar from the first deal to the next.
Had it been on the market for a while, or was it a new listing?
This was a new listing. Because I was really tracking the market pretty well. Mm-hmm. And it happens like this a lot where the properties that are on the market for a period of time are on the market for a period of time for a reason. Mm-hmm. It gets picked through. They're not selling for a variety of reasons. So you're always waiting for the new stuff to come on. Mm-hmm. And when something new comes on and it has a certain quality and it's priced correctly, they move fast.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that your first purchase, you're planning on holding it for a while. You got that advice from the book, buy and hold, and you'll be a millionaire in 10 years or less. How long did you end up holding on to the second one?
The second one, we held on for another 26 years. So we had just sold that, I would say, in the fall of 2020.
Okay. So looking ahead to that third purchase, was it also in Albany?
The third purchase was literally on the corner of North Allen Street and J Street. So it was probably 5 houses away from the second purchase.
Okay. Looking forward to hearing more about it.
Sounds good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's all right.